Guys, coming at you today with a quick little rundown between the difference between the top Night Fae hunters and the top Kyrian hunters on patch 9.1 in the Sanctum of Domination raid specifically. So, if you look over here to our left, we have Ray. This is the rank 4 hunter in the world. Now, this is the rank 1 Kyrian hunter. I want to clarify. He's rank 4 of all hunters, but the first 3 hunters, all Night Fae. So that might give it away a little bit early, but we'll get back to that in a little bit. Over here, I obviously can't pronounce this. I do not speak Korean, I believe. But rank 1 hunter over here, he is Night Fae. He's a troll. They're both troll hunters. And yeah. So these are the top 2 hunters. All of their parses are from Mythic. They've full cleared. They're 10 out of 10. And it's crazy because this is rank 4, but he has a 17 parse. But there's not that many hunters that have done this, so it's, he's ranked 59. So there's 59 hunters who have done this. But he is the top Kyrian hunter for this fight. So let's break it down a little bit. The first fight, the Terra Grew, obviously doesn't really matter because this is highly dependent on one, were you getting the right animal powers? Was your team playing around you and getting things like, giving the green buffs? I forget which one it is that gives you damage bonus. Like, the Terra Grew is so irrelevant that it doesn't matter. And their damage is very similar anyways. So we're going to skip this one for now and move on to the Eye of the Jailer. You'll notice right away they have almost identical damage. They're within 100 damage of each other. And they're ranked 16 and ranked 24 respectively. So there's almost no difference in the Eye of the Jailer fight, which is interesting because it's primarily a single target fight with a little bit of 2-target cleave. It almost makes you think, it would almost bait you into thinking that Kyrian and I are pretty equal in single target primary fights, right? However, we'll get back to the single target idea in a little bit. But I want to move on to the 9 before we do that. So the 9 is a fight that starts with two NPCs that you're hitting, and a third is introduced shortly afterwards. And then a fourth is introduced shortly after that, and then it goes down to a single target fight. But for the first half of the fight, and usually when you're lusting, this is a 2 to 3 target fight. So naturally, we're going to think that the Night Fae hunter is going to do better, right? And you'd be absolutely right. It's almost 1,000 DPS difference between these two. And mind you, these are not bad players. This guy is ranked 101, okay? And there's a lot of people that have killed the 9 at this point, So it's very convincing to me that in the second you add a second and third target, Night Fae is going to be better, just significantly better. And that is because if you go in here, you'll notice that he is using, the Night Fae Hunter is using this Shadowgas Necklace legendary, which is the Legend of the Elder Antlers legendary, which causes wild spirits to hit twice when it's under 4 targets. And the 9 is a perfect fight for that because the entire time you're hitting at max 3 targets. I guess technically you could hit a 4th target, but it's always under 5, so you're always getting that benefit from that. And actually, he uses that necklace on all of these fights. Yeah, I've gone through the parses and looked. And he prefers that on single target, even over the ring, the Serpent Sting ring. So for Night Fae, definitely a big win over here on the 9. And I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's kind of keep a tally, okay? Let's keep a tally of the winners and losers. We'll make it kind of simple. We'll just do something like Night Fae over here. Actually, you know what? Let's put Night Fae over here since that's on the left of my screen. I know that's bad. And then Kyrian over here. And we'll kind of keep it like this for now. Okay. So I'll have to minimize this for a little bit. But for the Terra Group, we're not gonna start with that fight. We're gonna start with the Eye of the Jailer. 1 just nil. First fight nil. Second fight, do we have a clear winner? 100 DPS difference. I don't think we have a clear winner, so we're gonna call that one kind of nil as well, right? No clear winner, no clear loser. The third fight, the 9, I mean 1,000 DPS, that's massive. So we're going to give this one to Night Fae for sure. +1. I know this is kind of rough to look at. Maybe there's a better way to do this. Maybe we'll just give them a 1. It doesn't look very good, does it? How are we gonna do this? Yeah, we'll just do a +1 over here. That's fine for now. All right, let's look at the fourth fight, the Remnant of Ner'zhul. So there are multiple things to hit in this fight. However, primarily this is a single target fight. And there's a lot of movement, which doesn't give Night Fae Hunter a lot of time to set up for long extended periods of burst, like the whole Wild Spirits window. And I believe that's kind of what the difference is on this fight between the Night Fae Hunter and the Kyrian Hunter. The Kyrian Hunter is at 9,600 DPS, while the Night Fae Hunter is, I'm trying to get these even, is around 8,800 DPS. That's a 700 DPS loss for the Night Fae Hunter, and Kyrian is clearly winning out on this fight. Now, why is that? My thinking is the Kyrian Hunter cooldown is only a minute long, so when you're getting these orbs every minute, the Kyrian Hunter is constantly able to get more damage because he's able to basically use his burst window to hit the orbs and the boss constantly, while the Night Fae Hunter can only do this every 2 minutes. I think there's a lot of DPS loss there. However, I think, I think it's pretty obvious here. The Kyrian Hunter is definitely one out. So for number 4, we're going to give a +1 to the Kyrian Hunter and a 0 for the Night Fae Hunter for Remnant of Ner'zhul. But let's move on to number 5, Soul Render Dormazane. 18,835 damage. That is insane. That is bonkers damage. That is wild. 14,000. And that's insane too. 14,000 is not like nothing. Like, that is a huge amount of damage. But it doesn't even come close to almost 19,000 damage. Think about that. That is approaching 20k damage. How much do the players in your raid do? Maybe 7k, maybe 8k pushing, right? This guy's 3 players on your team combined. This dude's a beast. And it's Kyrian Hunter, right? This is easily, in my opinion, a Kyrian Hunter fight. And the reason for that is, if you know Soul Render Dormazane, his ads spawn every minute. Sometimes it's longer than that, but it kind of depends on the cooldown lineups. I believe it's every minute. I'm pretty sure it's every minute. Let's see if we can't find this out. Mythic Soul Render Dormazane. I should know this because I'm progging on it right now. Let's see. I want to see the abilities. The mythic changes. You're getting the big ad, right? Ad cannot be gripped, yada yada yada. How often does it spawn? Does it say? It might not say. Let's see. Surely one of these has how often the boss spawns. Work in progress. That's not very helpful. Okay, encounter journal. It should be every minute. I think it's every minute. I'm quite sure. Let's just go with the assumption that it's every minute. And we're going to go with that assumption because it helps. I think it helps Kyrian a lot. It does. Because the reason that he's doing this amount of damage most likely, is because he's getting his cooldown window every minute on these ads. So he's able to destroy these ads every minute. Whereas the Night Fae Hunter has a 2-minute cooldown on his ability, and therefore he's only able to use his he's only able to do this every other set of ads. So he's not getting the real, extended burst window that you'd like. And also another thing that I've noticed while we're progging on this boss is that the Night Fae Hunter loses damage here because Wild Spirits lasts I think 18 seconds with the conduit. And the ads themselves are only surviving for my team about 5 to 6 seconds once we turn on them. So for 12 seconds of Night Fae cooldown, he's just not getting any value, right? It's just hitting the boss. Whereas this is only the Kyrian Hunter, his resonating arrow is only a 10-second window, which means that he's, for like 60% of his cooldown is being used versus like 30%. So that, I think, is a big contributing factor. But anyways, obviously this is a win for the Kyrian Hunter. So number 5, we're just going to add a +1 here. The big winner here is the Kyrian Hunter for 5 for our Night Fae friend. That is a terrible 5. Wow. We're just going to give him a 0. So right now, halfway through the bosses, before we get to Painsmith, the real gatekeeper of this raid, Kyrian is looking ahead by 1. It's close, but that last fight, that Soul Render Dormazane, huge difference, right? All right, but Painsmith Raznal. Now this is a big one, and they're almost even in damage. It's a difference of 500 DPS, which is a difference. But I know, I have a feeling I know why this is. Primarily, Painsmith Raznal phases, like his first phase, you do it in about a minute and a half, right? So the intermission happens, and it's been you've gotten one resonating arrow from the Kyrian, or no, you've gotten 2 resonating arrows from the Kyrian, and you've gotten 1 wild spirits from the hunter, right? But wild spirits is equal to about 2 resonating arrows in most situations, unless it's like frequent ad spawns, which this is not. So the Night Fae Hunter is getting his cooldown, is getting wild spirits every time the intermission is over. So he's getting 1 at the start of the fight. You kill, you push the boss to 70%, you get an intermission, you do the intermission, and then the second phase happens. Night Fae Hunter's wild spirits is back up for that, and so is Kyrian's resonating arrow. Kyrian's not getting, they're getting more uses, but they're getting the same, like every 1 wild spirit is pretty much worth 2 resonating arrows, just about. Unless there's more ads that spawn on a 1-minute window, right? But there's not. It's a single target fight, except for there's some ads in the intermission, but that's not where you're using wild spirits, right? At least I don't believe so. Let's check out, actually. Wild spirits, Painsmith Raznal. Let's go to his 90 parse. And then we're just looking for his abilities. This is a good way to check logs right here. I could not tell you which one Wild Spirits is until I click all these. You turn off, these are abilities that he's using. So you turn off the abilities. We'll see here in a second. It'll be on a 2-minute gap. He didn't use it 1 time, so that's probably it. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Oh, that's not it. I don't know. I wish I could read Chinese. This is definitely it. So he doesn't use it on pull. He uses it like 18 seconds, 15 seconds on the pull, which is kind of odd. He uses it again 3 minutes. So basically, he uses it. They go through the intermission, which is longer. That keeps them in the fight longer. He can't use wild spirits in the intermission, so he uses it at 3 minutes. And then they, which is when they get back into P2. Then they phase him to 40% P3. And then he uses it when they get back. They lust right away, so he has wild spirits for that. And then I don't know what this is, but this is almost definitely wild spirits, even though I can't read what it is. But I don't know what this little bump is, because this is not wild spirits. That's interesting to me. Yeah. I'm not sure exactly what that is. It's fascinating. There's no like, you're looking for a 2-minute cooldown here. And I don't see anything like that besides the one we were looking at, so that had to be it. More than likely that was it. So for that reason, they're pretty equal in DPS. They're not far apart at all. For Painsmith Raznal, 7, it's 500 DPS. That is quite, you know what? No, I think 500 DPS is good enough to qualify as a +1. So for this Night Fae, we're just gonna give it a +1, especially because Painsmith Raznal is a really tough fight, and you need all the DPS you can get. This is getting kind of scuffed. See if we can't make it go a little bit bigger. There we go. Get a little bit more room out. Fight number 6, right? Wash for the Kyrian Hunter, +1 for the Night Fae Hunter. 500 DPS is large, so we'll give him that. Guardian of the first ones. Now I haven't looked at this one, but I can already tell you I think Kyrian's gonna win. Kyrian Hunter 8600. Guardian of the first. Wow, 9200. That's actually incredible to me. That is pretty insane that the Night Bay Hunter wins out on this one. By 600 DPS too. That's not a small margin. That's a, maybe he played worse here. Maybe there were just a PI discrepancy. Not sure what exactly is going on here, but the Night Bay Hunter is definitely one out on this one. And obviously, there's no way to tell if he got PI. Looking at this, actually, maybe there is. Maybe if we go into the rankings, let's see. It's 107 parses. I can't read Chinese, and that's not helping. Not helping at all. But yeah, Guardian of the first ones. We're all right. That's a 600 DPS increase. I would have thought Kyrian would have won this one. But apparently Night Fae is popping up at 9200 DPS, so that's an easy +1 for the Night Fae Hunter. Number 7, Guardian of the first ones. Wash for the Kyrian Hunter. +1 for the Night Fae Hunter. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Fate Scribe Rokalo. Now, there is a difference. They're very close in DPS, so this is already going to be a wash. We can already tell, right? 200 DPS. But there's a difference in methodology for this one. And a big thing is, did he have to run the rings? Because if one of these had to run the rings, that's instantly a DPS loss. However, we're at 9,300. They're both doing the same things. But it's interesting because the way it works is the tank ad on Fate Scribe Rokalo spawns every minute-ish, which means Kyrian should always have their cooldown up for this, right? They should always have their cooldown up for Fate Scribe, for the ads, right? So they should be getting more damage theoretically. However, and they are getting like 200 more DPS. However, somehow the Night Fae Hunter is doing pretty competitive damage here, and I don't think they should be. The ads spawn every minute, and Night Fae Hunter can only kill one set of ads pretty much per phase. So that's kind of a big difference. That's pretty insane that Night Fae Hunter is keeping up here. This is pretty much a wash. I'm not going to call 150 DPS enough to make a big difference. I'm going to go up here, actually. We're just going to make a new kind of, let's see if we can't go over. Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this right here. Just continue right along. Number 8 for Kyrian is going to be a wash. And then Night Fae. This is also going to be a wash. So let's look at number 9. Health Zod. 8,400 DPS versus 11,918 DPS. Now, he is rank 1 for this fight, which is nutty, okay? But let's be clear. This is a massive DPS gap. And the reason is more ads. I would almost be certain more ads. He's probably getting some PIs in there. And obviously, he had a knockout performance. But almost every time we have a big ad fight, you'll notice that the Night Fae Hunter is coming out on top. And it's mostly due to that new legendary. It's due to the legendary, the Elder Antlers legendary, where you're proccing Wild Spirits twice. I mean, this guy's doing bonkers damage. He is almost, what is that? I mean, 12,000 to 8,500. Now, this guy might have had a bad pull, but, not even. Like, he's ranked, 62 in the world. Like, it's not that bad of a pull. Admittedly, it's in the lower half, so there's only like 150 hunters that have done this or something like that. Maybe a little bit less, but he's still in the he's doing quite well. Actually, I guess it's less than that. It's probably like 100 hunters. I can't do math like that. That's I'd have to get out a pen and piece of paper. But anyways, the Night Fae Hunter clearly winning out on the DPS here. Honestly, that's like a +3. We're gonna keep it consistent though. We're gonna keep giving +1s. Kyrian, no, that's a wash. Night Fae +1 here. And then Sylvanas Windrunner, our final one, 1,500 difference in DPS. And that makes sense because the platforms have, big gaps in between when you're killing the ads and stuff like that. So as a Kyrian Hunter, And he didn't parse very well on this, just to be fair. He didn't parse very well at all. Huge difference in damage, though. Huge difference in damage. And that's not to say anything bad about this guy, right? This is the rank 4 hunter in the world. This is him. He is rank 4. This is rank 1. And obviously rank 1 is higher than rank 4, so that's going to be a given. But, you know, on almost every fight that matters, Kyrian is behind Night Fae. I mean, Sylvanas is one of the most important fights. This is the CE fight. If you kill Sylvanas, you get CE. If you don't kill Sylvanas, you don't get CE, right? Like, that's how it works. So, you know, it's kind of the most important fight, and Night Fae is winning out. That's a +1 for Night Fae right there. And it's time that we tally them up. Let's see who our ultimate winner is between Kyrian and Night Fae. For our first fight, which is Terragru, it doesn't matter. DPS doesn't matter on that fight, right? Number 2, Eye of the Jailer, they were about even, so that's a wash. Number 3, the 9, Night Fae had considerably more damage because they're getting Wild Spirits and the Elder Antlers procs nonstop. So that's 1. And we'll make a little tally sheet right here. 1 strike for Night Fae. Number 4, I believe that was Remnant of Ner'zhul, where Kyrian did come out on top. So that is 1 for Kyrian. Number 5, Soul Render Dormazane, where the ads spawn so consistently that Kyrian does have a huge advantage in this fight. That's a 2nd one for Kyrian. Okay. Number 6, Painsmith Razanat. Huge gap in time between where you're allowed to use your cooldowns. So, Night Fae has time to get their cooldown back. They get more damage. That's a win. That's not a huge win. That's only like a 500 DPS difference between them. But that's a win for them. Guardian of the first ones, number 7. Night Fae somehow coming out on top, even though Kyrian's consistent. All right. Number 8, we have Fate Scribe Rokalo. There was pretty much a wash for both of them, so no points awarded. Number 9, Kelt the Zod, constant ads, constant big damage from Night Fae's Wild Spirits. That's a 4th point. And Sylvanas, the best and hardest and most important fight of them all. That's a 5. That's a wash, 5-2. You know what? Actually, wait, let's do it this way. So it was 5. Wait, we're going to give them a point for each just because I want to see it that way. So for number 1, Terragru, they both get 1 point. For number 2, the Eye, they both get 1 point. We had winners for 3, we had a winner for 4, we had a winner for 5, winner for 6, winner for 7, no winner for 8, so they're each going to get a point. We had a clear winner for 9, and we had a clear winner for 10 in Night Fae. So, on 5 of the fights, Kyrian is ahead. Or no, that's not true. That's not right. Maybe this is a bad way to do this. It's a bad way to visualize this, actually. Wait, I lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, wait, let's go forward. 5, and then it was the 2, right? Yeah, so 1, 2. So on 5 of the fights, Night Fae Hunter comes out ahead, right? On 2 of the fights, Kyrian Hunter comes out ahead. Now, these could be skewed by things like PI, and, rank 1 Hunter is just insane. Like, it's rank 1. There's a reason he's rank 1, right? But, I gotta say, it looks like Night Fae is the better class for patch 9.1. Which might be a good thing, might be a bad thing, depending on how you look at it. I really like Night Fae Hunter. I think Soul Shape by itself is incredible, right? And that might be the reason this guy had some not so good parses in comparison to a Night Fae Hunter, right? It might be that Soul Shape saved this guy from something that he would have died to, and this guy had a potion and didn't die. Or didn't live. He died. So maybe that's why he got a 17 and a 43 in the last 2 fights. Now, he's insane. Look at these parses, right? But this guy's clearly doing something better, and he's Night Fae. So if you're going based on a pure what is the better covenant to use, and if you're basing it on who the top players are, to me it looks like we have a clear winner in Night Fae. let me guys know what you think in the comments. I appreciate you for watching this. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, thank you so much. You were literally the best. I hope you have such a wonderful day. Give me some feedback. Let me know what you guys think. I know this video is kind of a different take than I usually make. I usually make guides or other things like that. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out.